All right, in the fifth problem, we're trying to sketch a graph using our understanding of transformations. We're trying to sketch f of x that equals -2 times the square root of x plus 1 plus 3. Okay. So we start with our toolkit function of the square root of x. Now we know we can't put negative numbers into this, so we're not going to have any inputs on the negative side, and anything that we get out is also going to be positive. And we should also note that as I put bigger and bigger numbers in, each one has the square root taken to it, so it's going to grow slower. So we have something that looks kind of like this as our toolkit function. Now, we might think of our transformations as being taking them in kind of our order of operations. So the first thing that happens is to the x is that it's being added. We have an addition of 1, and that's inside this function of square rooting. So that's going to be a horizontal shift. We want to think, what number do we need to put in for x to kind of get us back to our original? So getting back to our original here, if I added 1, of course I have to start with subtracting 1. So at -1, I have this scenario. So I've shifted to the left by 1. Then the next thing that happens is that I'm multiplied by 2 here. I'm going to take the negative and the number here as separate pieces. So that's outside of the square root. So that's going to be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Everything that I just had is now going to be doubled. So this point here is at 0. So doubling it is going to keep it at 0, but everything else is going to get stretched up. And we can see that there. So now I'm going to move this out of the way. So we've moved to the left one and we stretched. And now this negative tells me that I'm reflecting everything. Everything that was positive as an output is now negative as an output. So that means over the x-axis, the horizontal axis, I'm going to reflect everything. Okay, so now I've made that reflection. Then from there, now in my output, I take all my outputs and I add 3. So I have a vertical shift up 3. Now you can see our final solution should look like this. We have our endpoint here at -1, 3, and we're sloping down and we hit 0, 1, and we hit 1 1/4, 0. Here we have a point at 3, -1, and we could put some inputs in and see what we get out for our output. But that becomes the sketch that we use based on our different situations. So we had kind of 4 different transformations that happened.